Hello and welcome to Straight Dude Date Night, a show where two straight dudes go on a date and they review it. My name is David Stallings and I am one of these straight dudes.
And I am Ricky Rivera, the other straight dude.
Today, we're gamers.
Woo! Big gamer
We're
moments.
big gamers, okay? We went out and we saw the gaming movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right?
The Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I wish it was that again.
They were showing it today. We could have just popped in.
Wait, they were? They had Mario's showing today?
Yeah, they did like a $5 fanfare.
We should have done that. That would have been way more interesting.
Nah, dude. New gaming movie out. New racing movie.
That's right. We saw it, the big one, with like 55 fan events in preparation for its release this week. Gran Turismo, based on a true story. That's the full title. Don't get it wrong. Okay? That's it.
Hate it.
That's the name.
I hate that title.
There's nothing you can do about it. Go look it up on AMC. Go look it up on IMDb. It's Gran Turismo based on a true story. They put the colon there.
I know it's the real name. I still hate it. I can't accept that that's the real name.
You know, we've seen several based on a true story movies. We've seen Chevalier. We've seen Air. Both are based on a true story. They didn't put that in the title, so that's not the name.
They had to, let me put on my nerd glasses here.
Go ahead.
David, they had to put the based on a true story because they didn't want you to think that it was based off the video game because the video game has no story.
Right.
We know.
Yes,
Just
we
a
understand.
bad name.
It's bad. We don't like it. It's dumb. Gran Turismo, based on a true story. Huge. A story I've never heard of, nor do I particularly care about.
It almost feels when I first saw the poster for this movie and saw that title, it almost made me feel like this movie wasn't made by Sony. That's why they had to throw in the based on a true story.
Oh, I see.
Like it felt like a knockoff. Like you know how like some schools will do like a play and it's Mulan Jr.
Okay,
Or,
yeah.
you know what I mean? They got to find that one thing to make it a little bit different just so they don't get copyright striked. That's what I thought this movie was when I first heard about it. So when I saw Gran Turismo based on a true story, I was like, oh, so it's not about the video game? Because the video game doesn't have a story.
Yeah.
Is this not like licensed properly? The poster doesn't look real, first off.
Right.
Poster looks like one of those sappy Disney inspiring movies that make it straight to streaming.
Bro, the movie
Like Miracle.
the whole movie doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
It seemed like such a jumbled mess. First off, before I proceed, I totally get it. We both totally get it. There's a huge fan base for racing. It's like the soccer FIFA thing. All of America doesn't care, but 7 billion other people do. I get it. The huge fandom for this stuff. If you are a big racing person, this is not the episode for you.
Yeah, just skip. Just skip. I mean, this is very rare that we'll say, please skip.
Just skip the episode.
Just throw a like on there, wait for next week.
If you will ride or die on the racing, I mean, maybe you're interested. I'll just say this. If you care about that, you'll like the movie. That's the review you need. That's it. Done. Turn it off. Like the video. That's it.
You can follow us on all social media, Straight Dude Date Night.
Okay, we're going to do the whole spiel. We're going to do all of it right now. This is the whole review. Also here, I will do the ending for you right now as well.
Now the bonus content for those who don't really care for racing. Welcome.
The true fans. Welcome
Yeah.
to the show. Thank you for coming. I hated this movie. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. That's why I have to do the disclaimer. Someone's going to yell at us. Okay?
Always going to get yelled at. It's opinion-based content. What do you want?
Look, I feel like this week in particular, this past week in particular, we've gotten a lot more people yelling at us about our opinions, which I feel like that's a good sign. But also, just so you know, I hate the movie. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's me. But it's the internet. You can't have
Go
an opinion.
ahead and comment down below if you hate David's opinion.
No,
Go ahead and
don't.
roast
We're
him
not
down below.
doing this again.
No, don't, David. Don't worry. It's free interactions. Go
Yes,
ahead
yeah,
and comment below how much you hate David for not liking a racing movie. He's dumb for it. I'm already commented. Look at my comment down there. I already commented.
So dumb. So dumb. All of this is so dumb. Oh my god.
Racing. Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. Okay, you know what? Since you did that, I'll let people know that because of the big fat Greek wedding thing from last week, I said 10 people and we're at 9 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up seeing my big fat Greek wedding thing.
I can't wait to watch them all, honestly.
So
I've already started. I gotta look to where who's streaming those first 2
Yeah,
movies.
you're gonna binge all of it
Of
beforehand.
course. Have to. Somebody's got to do the work here, you know?
Yeah, it won't be me. It won't be me. Oh man. All right, so Gran Turismo based on a true story. I should do a synopsis, right?
Yeah, it's based on a true story.
It's based on a true story, in case you didn't know. And it's a video game. Yeah, I'll go in. Gran Turismo is a racing simulator made by Nissan and Sony. Is Nissan involved in it? No? Is it
This is
Nissan?
This is Nissan's game. It's on PlayStation only, so it's kind of a collab.
I had no idea. Again, I don't care about racing.
Yeah.
You couldn't find me racing.
I don't know much about Gran Turismo. I never really played those games ever.
I hear it's cool.
I've seen my brother-in-law is super into it, and I've seen him play, and it looks fun. I just don't know what's happening.
So is your brother-in-law a pro racer now?
He's a pro racer.
Yeah?
I mean, you know, he's made it into the big leagues. He's on his way.
Yeah. That's all you have to do, it seems.
Congrats.
Congrats. So Gran Turismo is a racing simulator video game. And in real life, at some point, Nissan came up with the idea of, hey, we could have a pro driver that's a pro gamer for our game. And they hosted a competition to find the best Gran Turismo player in an attempt to turn them into a real motorsports athlete.
Yeah, the GT Academy. The
Yep.
GTA.
Yep, the GTA. And the movie centers around the character Yan, who becomes the best one. And then he starts racing a bunch of stuff, has to get 4th place to get his license as like a pro driver. And then just keeps racing. And then gets 3rd place in a very big race, which apparently shows that the simulated gaming people are respectable athletes. That's it. That's the whole movie.
Now, I want to say, I think that idea in real life is actually kind of cool.
That story is interesting. That's crazy.
Because that just is a testament not only to how realistic that game is, to think that we could actually make people into real racing, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, drivers nowadays are not on the track 24/7 every single time they practice. They have to simulate something, right? Like we're in the future.
Yeah.
People are simulating themselves driving to get training. I mean, Lightning McQueen did it.
Yeah.
In cars.
Well, right, of course, yes.
So obviously we've caught up to that.
Yes, we are there.
It's a cool idea. On the other hand, I'm sorry to all you race fans. It just shows that sport would probably be one of the easiest video games to go from video game to real life.
Yes.
But that being said, I have the utmost respect for any athlete because they're doing an immense amount more work than I could ever do.
Yeah.
Especially racing. I was thinking about that during the movie of, could I drive a car going like 260 miles an hour? Answer to that, yes. Would I be good? No, I would die.
You probably
I would die. But I would love to do it. But I definitely could not do it.
Yeah.
They make a good point of showing like how physical it can be on your body, which makes sense. I never thought about that.
Which I've always understood that aspect of race car driving with Formula One and NASCAR and everything. Like, it is intense to be going at that speed and subjecting yourself to that while also making the decisions. I think Formula One is more interesting because it's actually like bigger and more crazier tracks. At least I think that's what it is.
It is. Formula One is to me way more interesting.
Yeah.
NASCAR is boring because it's just a circle.
Yeah, but even so, the dilemma that I have with racing, and I know this from experience because I view it similarly to horse racing, which my family has enjoyed at the track near here that we've gone to often. And with any kind of racing like that, the art of doing it, of like training for that, either getting on a horse or getting in the very fast car and being able to maneuver and pass someone and not die, that's real. I know that's skill. That's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
Watching it couldn't be more boring. There's nothing to me. There's nothing more boring than that. to me.
Yeah. I attended one race in my whole life, and it was the most boring race I've ever.
Was it like NASCAR?
It was NASCAR. The problem, I think the biggest problem is that the Phoenix Raceway is a small track.
Okay.
So cars can't even top speed. Like they can't even go full speed. They have to limit themselves. So it's already known for being a pretty just tedious, just looping, constantly looping. That's what that track is down there. It's a cool location, beautiful sights. But man, I was bored. I just sat there for about an hour, and I was just like, yeah,
they're going
cool.
I can't. Well,
I tried. I really tried because I would love to get into a sport that just requires no effort from me.
Yeah,
just got to sit there and just watch cars go, and I'm like, cool, it's nice.
Well, I feel like the only thing that you're quote hoping for that's interesting with these sports is you're waiting for an accident to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
In the movie, that's the most exciting part is, oh my gosh, something happened. Every time, like, I get it was a big deal that the gamer was somehow passing all the pros, but them they were trying to showcase it, and it's like, it's just passing.
Yeah.
Like, I get it's hard to do because you're going 400 miles an hour and you could hit them and you could die. So yeah, it's hard. Watching it, that does not translate at all. Not one bit.
Yeah.
Every time he would do it too, he'd hit a button on the wheel and change something with the pedals as if I know what's happening.
Shifting, yeah.
Like I understand. Am I supposed to? Do you think I should have known?
I don't think it was for you. I don't think it was for me either.
That's true.
For people who played the video games, they're probably so excited.
Bro, I hated this movie. I hated this movie. I was bored out of my mind with this movie, Ricky. This was not for me, and I get that.
Yeah. There's just nothing else out there to watch.
Is there really nothing else this week?
There was Blue Beetle.
No.
But we're not watching it.
Disregard. That's not out. Was there anything else?
No.
Oh.
No, there was I think it's called that one pirate exorcist movie.
Oh, Dracula Boat.
Yeah, the Dracula Boat movie. I did not want to see that. I would have hard passed that.
No.
I literally would have just rather done Gran Turismo than anything else.
Yeah, we would have talked about it. Yeah, Gran Turismo based on a true story looks more interesting.
Hating chasing that true story. Yeah. I didn't necessarily hate this movie. I feel like there were aspects of it that I actually enjoyed. It made the races far more interesting, especially for somebody like me who has no clue how racing works. They made it very easy. They made it very easy for a casual fan like me to just understand. He's in third place. Big arrow on him, third place.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. I understand the stakes now. I get it.
Yeah.
Because they're explaining it to me every 5 seconds where he is. And I love that because I need that.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I do think that would have been lost. They had to. There were so many cars on the tracks that they had to do that.
Well, if they didn't do that, we definitely would have not known what was going on.
Anything about what was happening.
Yeah.
I think this was interesting to me. Because there was only one part during a race that was not a crash that I identified as, I've become invested. There was one part, and that was when they were on the track and it started raining.
Yeah.
Which, that feels like, first off, we should stop the race, but they didn't. I guess you don't do that with Formula One.
Carry on, baby.
So the fact that they were going 400 miles an hour with all the rain pouring down on them, and they have to still survive, and the only thing helping them with their sight is a single windshield wiper.
Bro.
That stressed me out.
That's so American of you to think that that's like they should stop the race.
Bro.
Only in America would you do that.
Bro, the quote.
Hey, we wear shoulder pads and we play our football.
Dude, the one quote from this movie that pissed me off was... because after the second to last race, that race ended with Yan got in the big car accident.
Yeah.
And it was a freak accident. Something happened where he didn't go pit earlier, and so the car over a hill, did not have friction or lost friction or whatever.
Lost friction and just went up.
And
it's a freak accident.
Yeah. And it went over into the gate and into some spectator areas. And when Yan wakes up in the hospital and they're like, the car did hit a spectator. And he's like, did he die? And they don't say anything. And he starts screaming. And David Harbour goes, racing is a dangerous game. And it's like, that's the response on this? If that's the case and we all know it, and throughout the movie you've been saying the biggest fear we have is you're going to kill someone, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I get that does not actually happen all the time, but
yeah.
Gran Turismo based on a true story is based on a true story.
Yeah.
So that happened, and we go, well, the idiot just shouldn't have been there, honestly. I think it's the spectator's fault, right? No, I mean, that's what they're saying at that point. Racing is a dangerous sport. Be in a better spot. Be prepared for that. That's what they're saying.
I know. I see what you're saying.
Right?
It just sounds so cold-blooded.
It does. I didn't say it, though. The movie did. Gran Turismo, based on a true story, is based on a true story. Do you get what I mean,
leaving.
though?
I'm leaving the podcast. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Petition for a new host.
Nope.
I'm out of here.
Do you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
though?
I get
that
it.
was the dumbest line.
It was
to
really
me.
bad. I think these people got written really poorly. David Harbour's character is probably the best part of this whole movie.
David Harbour is the best actor in the film.
Yes, because most of the acting is pretty rough. The main character wasn't bad. He had his moments where he was rough,
I don't
but he
think
was
he
good.
bad. His little anime screams that he did like 4 times were cringe, but
Bro, here's the biggest problem. Yeah! This is the one thing I hate. I hate this when movies try to relate to like gamers or whatever. Like when you start to address the gamer, like just anything. First off, it's always one of two things. It's A, 80s is the best, or B, I'm so out of touch. All I know is that you just are gamers with your sticks and controllers.
it's different than a joystick, isn't it,
Yes,
bud?
yeah. They're like, and I told you this when we saw David Harbour in one of the opening scenes. He has his Walkman on. I immediately was like, okay, the writers to this movie, people making this movie, are out of touch.
Mm-hmm.
Easy, just they're out of touch.
Yeah.
If first off, maybe that's just who the person was. No, David Harbour's character was not a real person. We looked it up. That's not a real person. If that was a character trait that real person had, where he just always had his Walkman, even though it's the year 2015 or whatever. Okay, that makes sense. That's like his one thing. He's nostalgic. Nope. The writers are just out of touch because we're just still keeping Walkmans in. Like a Walkman in Guardians of the Galaxy makes sense because Star-Lord he left Earth in like what, the 70s or 80s?
Yeah.
That's all he knows. That makes sense. But when we're just making it the character trait, I immediately knew we were out of touch.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because one of the things I'm thinking back to Air in particular, where one of the things we talked about with that was every character was weird. But that was based on when we did the research and talked to the people, they were weird.
Yeah,
this is how they were.
Yes.
We have the photos to prove it. This is them. I think, though, the Walkman thing, that started to be more interesting to me as the movie went on because they made music a little bit of a theme in it where David Harbour and Yan seemed to kind of connect over it in a way. Like, I liked their interactions towards the end. Like, that seemed the most real in the movie.
Yeah, their interactions are great. It doesn't need to be a Walkman.
It doesn't.
Doesn't need to be. Look, just let the 80s live on in legend.
I don't understand how it could be a Walkman at this point, how a family member didn't get you something else. I mean, the movie. I don't know when Gran Turismo based on a true story took place. I don't know what year that was because this isn't. I don't care about.
We did our research on this one.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. No. I don't like that personally. But when I saw that, I just knew we were going to be out of touch, and there was going to be lines in this movie that felt like these people haven't been around a video game in maybe 15 years, and it was very prevalent because there were moments where they're like noob.
Yep.
All right. Nobody says noob. Please. If
We
you
passed
say
that.
if you say noob, you're 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just be relevant.
Yep.
Stop with the irrelevancy.
Yep.
The only time where they were trying to relate to the young audience.
And arguably, if I'm on the right track with you, it's the best line in the movie.
Oh, that yes.
Okay,
yes.
is this different?
This is a different one.
Okay, you do
sorry.
it, do
Two
it.
moments. Two moments. One. The only person in this movie that felt anywhat relatable to young people was the girl. Her lines were the only thing that she was
Yes.
like. She was just like, "Oh, I'm liking your stories on Insta." That
Yeah.
makes sense because that's what we all say.
Yeah.
Nobody says Instagram anymore. We don't go, "Hey man, I saw you post on Instagram today." Say, "Oh, I saw your thing on Insta." Like, that's cool. Like that's the more common way.
Yeah.
The best line in the movie, David Harbour delivers it perfectly. He goes, "You mad, bro?" That was elite.
Yep.
That was elite. Somebody finally let David Harbour cook.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He did that all himself.
That was the best line.
Yep.
Because then
You mad, bro?
Yan's response, and a typical response to it, if you mad, bro, is said not ironically, is, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'll make you mad instantly just
Yeah.
by saying that.
So, yeah, I agree with you that there was a lot of this movie that felt out of touch. Also, I don't have, on a different note, I don't have any like problem with Orlando Bloom at all. He felt like a weird choice.
I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I like Orlando Bloom. I think he's a great actor.
I do too.
This did not seem like a movie for him. It felt like he didn't even want to be here.
Well, because the only other thing aside from Pirates of the Caribbean that I've seen Orlando Bloom in is it was an Amazon TV show called Carnival Row. Carnival Row is what it was called. It was this weird like sci-fi thing or fantasy-esque. Orlando Bloom I now associate with more of like eccentric, somewhat sci-fi or fantasy ideas, right? Because he's also in Lord of the Rings somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
one of the L's.
Yeah, he's Legolas.
Yeah.
So he's always been in that. So seeing him just as a guy and not surrounded by a weird world is just it's like, no, we forgot to put you in an alternate universe, sir.
Yeah.
We forgot to place him there.
I mean, he's a fine actor. I think Orlando Bloom's
I
awesome.
enjoy him a lot.
It just didn't feel, and this isn't even on the movie. At some points, I felt like he just didn't really want to be a part of the project. Like, I really don't know how they got him to do this role.
Yeah.
Because they really did feel like he didn't want to do it, and they wrote him very weird. His lines were always weird. He was, I don't know, it just didn't. Orlando Bloom just was really out of place in everything going on.
They also seem to try for like a split second. They're like, and he's gonna be an unsaid villain of like he's gonna try and undermine Yan's career.
Hey, he's all
because
PR.
After the at the final race at the at the Academy, Yan won by like a frame, basically by like a millisecond or whatever.
Yeah.
Beating the guy who actually was like, he was more camera ready and he's easier
marketable.
press. Yeah,
Yeah.
is easier to market, this guy. And so Orlando Bloom's character had the idea of, we could just lie. And David Harbour's like, no. And then David Harbour said that, and the possibility of Orlando Bloom being any kind of antagonist in the movie just vanished. He's like, yeah, you're right. That's fine.
You know,
everything
we
worked out. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, well, he does have some moments where he's thinking about it, like when Yan's in the hospital. He's thinking like, how am I going to explain this to Nissan? He's like, that's not the point right now.
Well, I get it from the stance of the guy's, his character is all business.
Yeah.
That moment is not necessarily like him saying that in the hospital. I don't view that as like he's an antagonist.
Right.
He's kind of a bad person.
He's just not
or
best.
Or he's a business focused person all
Right.
the time, which comes off as a lack of empathy. But that's the character. It's different from that first one where he, for a moment, thinks about, oh, I could just lie and ruin this situation for this kid.
When you have $1 billion company behind you, like Nissan,
Nissan.
When you have a $1 billion company like Nissan behind you, you got to worry about the money.
I know that's the proper way to say it, but them saying that the entire time in the movie, referring to the company, I hated it.
You know what I noticed is he's the only one that says Nissan in the whole movie.
Did he say Nissan at some point?
Orlando Bloom?
Yeah.
He's the only one who says it.
Really?
He's the only person that says Nissan. Okay. I wonder if like David Harbour and the other actor just couldn't pronounce it properly. And maybe that was just a part of the rules, was that it had to be. I don't know though, because David Harbour is known to be one of those guys to follow something to the T. So I don't know what the thing was there.
Yeah.
Like I know if they told him to pronounce Nissan properly, he would have done it.
Yeah.
Because he had that same issue in the Black Widow movie. That was his biggest gripe with the movie, was that he's like, I'm a Russian, aren't I? Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, you have a Russian accent. He's like, why would a Russian be speaking English the whole time? Like that made him so mad. He just thought that was the dumbest thing, to just be a Russian man who's never been out of Russia to know English, to speak English. And they're like, oh, it's for the movie. He's like, no, I'll learn Russian.
I'll learn Russian, and we will put subtitles under the whole thing.
Yeah, no.
Stop. That doesn't work, sir.
Stop. Yeah, so... But he's the only one that really says Nissan throughout that whole movie. I don't remember anybody else saying Nissan.
Yeah.
Nissan.
That I hated that. I hated that part. That's not a true gripe with the movie. It was just, it kept catching me off guard every time they did it. Nissan. I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right. That's the way to say it. I have that car. Yeah, I have the Nissan Altima. Yeah, yeah, that's the correct way, I guess. Yeah, of course.
Fun movie.
Yeah, we saw it.
Now, may I pique your interest in a similar movie that's the best racing movie of all time, in my opinion? Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby.
Okay, all
now
right.
That should be the gold standard of all racing movies.
That's a good point.
Yep, that should be the gold standard. So when Gran Turismo, based on a true story, didn't follow the gold standard of being like Ricky Bobby,
right?
That's when I knew this movie wasn't going to be good.
Well, I felt like the issue with this movie, because Talladega Nights, which isn't it's racing, but it's also a whole different genre, right?
No, it's racing.
Oh, right, sure.
It's a racing movie.
Yeah,
it's based on Talladega Nights. Ricky Bobby ballad.
Is it Talladega Nights? The Ballad of Ricky Bobby,
yeah.
Based on a true story?
Based on a true story, yeah. Based on a true story. Maybe.
Well, I think the difference is that from that kind of movie, the things I recall, because I saw it a long time ago, but what I recall from the movie is none of the racing. I don't remember the racing. I remember the people.
You don't remember when Will Ferrell crashed the car in the race? That's when he loses his racing.
Yes.
He crashes and he comes, I'm on fire! I'm dying!
Yes, I do remember.
He starts stripping down. He's not even on fire. Oh, God, it's burned!
Yes, I do remember that. But that's not racing. That's he got in an accident. You remember that moment of the accident and then he gets out in a fire.
No, they shake and bake. You got to get in his drift and pass around. That they did the racing in the movie. I'm telling you right now.
I just feel like
Gran Turismo just should have followed the.
Sorry, say it. It's Gran Turismo based on a true story. Get it right.
Followed the Talladega Nights.
I'm just saying that the thing that I really disliked about this movie is that even though I'm not I'm not a fan of races. The relationships, the actual story surrounding the racing, should have elevated. Yeah. Right? There should have been something more that someone like me could then be interested in. And it just wasn't. The relationships, all of them were meh. Suddenly we were mad at the guy in the academy out of nowhere.
They were trying to force other storylines that I don't think needed to happen. I think they could have cut down easily on time. Like, I did think about that at the end of the movie. The girlfriend. Mm-hmm. There was no need for her story at all. Like she didn't need to be a part of the movie. We could have saved 20 minutes at the beginning without going to that party. Mm-hmm. Like, we could have saved time there. We didn't really need the beef at the academy. I mean, if that's something that really happened, then it's fun to get into a little bit, but they like really tried to make that stick like it was going to be a problem throughout the movie, and it never was.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of a lot of issues that came up that were just suddenly solved, I think is the issue. We had the Orlando Bloom thing of like a decision was attempted here that would have undercut Yan significantly.
Yeah.
But it was immediately solved. Things are working. We don't care anymore. There was no dilemma that happened about the marketing in mind. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
We had a dilemma at the academy of there's a mean racer guy, and now we have to try and survive the academy and beat him. And it was very quick that we did that, and then we're best friends later on.
Yeah, it was a very fast-paced movie. I think that they could have slowed down on some beats to make the story better by just cutting out other pieces of the story.
Yeah.
Like, we could have focused more on the parents and, like, his discomfort between him and his parents rather than invest in a romantic. I don't think they needed a romance aspect.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, I get it. Every movie now wants to have a romance aspect. And if that's what really happened, then do you, boo. But it didn't seem very important the whole time.
Well, I mean,
there was no stakes with the girlfriend, nothing. I mean, it was just, she was just there.
But here's the thing, Ricky. The best part of the movie came from one of the romance scenes. You know why?
Why?
Because the song playing behind it was Joji.
Ah, that's
It was
true.
a Joji song.
Yeah,
that's actually
true.
on my Spotify playlist. I can't remember which one it is because I have a bunch of them on there. But we now live in the era where the Pink Man from the internet has made music that's popular enough that it is in a big movie.
We're in an era where YouTubers have made mainstream media.
Dude,
It's insane.
They
here. Are more. I think YouTubers are bigger than most mainstream media.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. You know what this movie does make me think of, though? Like, it's not an insane concept. I mean, it's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're seeing that now more and more with, you know, the YouTube and gaming, all that to real life. I mean, think of the boxing thing. Like, all of YouTube is now just fighting each other.
I can't.
But there are people who have made it out. Like, yeah, I know it's silly. It's like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, those guys are making it into boxing.
Yeah.
But they're doing bigger numbers and bigger fights than anything else, like any other fights going on.
I mean, the biggest testament to that, I think, is that our group of friends accidentally ending up at a sports bar and watching all of the most recent Jake Paul fight.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Just such a meme, but also we did it.
I mean, he's fighting also one of the best MMA fighters of all time too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, we just clashed with a big name. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's interesting. I mean, I think we're going to see more of it. It's not very prevalent in America, so it's not as famous, as popular, but soccer is another big one. Like FIFA players do a lot of like UK YouTubers and FIFA players over on that side of the world. They put on like a charity event and sell out a soccer stadium just to watch them play soccer together. So these things exist. I mean, there's celebrity baseball games, all those kind of things.
Well, I think what we're seeing is, because I've been thinking about this a lot, as there's a bunch of YouTubers I watch that they're putting on more and more events, like real in-person events. And I think what we're seeing is that since, I mean, YouTube came out, started growing in like 2007, maybe earlier, like it's been around for at least 15 years now. And there are people who have been on there for half that time, less, and they're 5 million subs and they're making millions of dollars on it. And there's a point where I think their business strategy is, I will not be able to stay relevant on here forever.
Yeah.
And there are some YouTubers I watch who have like 20 million subs, but they've talked about it's only like 3 million that actually watch.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with a different strategy for it, which is why we're seeing that a lot of YouTubers are turning to, I need to be actually putting on events.
Right.
And I need
The
to
real life
incorporate
version
other
of this.
creators and do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's all started with Gran Turismo, but that does push the bar for those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Because once you see that a gamer, somebody who just probably bought the game on PlayStation one day and then was like, oh, you know what? I'll buy the set to do the actual thing at home. And I'll actually buy a nice chair. Oh, I actually found this place that has a legit setup.
yeah.
Oh, now I'm really driving a car.
Yeah.
That just pushes those expectations higher to where that kills, like it makes it less exciting for just a normal GT Academy race. It's all simulated. It's like, dude, we know the limits. We know you could go into a real car.
Yeah.
It's been done before. Like, but it's cool because it pushes the boundaries of these content creators and allowing them to step into the real world. I think people just need to be more accepting because it's going to happen.
The difference is with that kind of sport versus like you play NBA 2K very often, right?
Yeah.
Could you step onto the court as a pro, you think?
No, I don't think I could. But I don't doubt that one day it'll happen.
Yes.
It's a bit harder. See, now with like football, basketball, baseball, those kind. Well, baseball not, but football and basketball, those sports are a bit harder to get into just because the avenues are smaller, and the talent is so saturated. Like there's so many people.
Yeah.
As to where with racing, it's like you just gotta hop in a car and you gotta get 4th place in a race to get your license.
Yeah.
Then you can go to any pro race and do whatever pro race you can compete in. It's kind of the same thing with like golf, right? Like you just got to place in these tournaments to get into like actual clubs and masters. A lot harder to do that in other sports, but I do think it will happen eventually. We'll see.
I mean, I don't doubt, because I remember seeing like several years ago this prototype game device that was supposed to be like, I remember it as like almost like a baby crib or something, that, or like the hopper that Denny has, like the thing that you actually sit him in and he bounces. It was something like that for an adult that you step into, but the floor of it was almost like a maneuverable treadmill.
Interesting.
And so you could be running in it, and that you would have the sensation of moving while you have goggles on.
And it would move in different ways. Like it's not just direct. It's not straight, right? It's I forget what they call that, but yeah.
It was omnidirectional.
Omnidirectional. Thank you. Yes.
And
so
I knew
something omni.
You have that if you could create a simulation where, like, for tennis, right?
Yeah, right.
Where you just have to move and then you have to do the motion of actually hitting. Like that's not unreasonable. That likely will be real someday, where you can be practicing tennis at home.
It could happen one day. I mean, the only difference between a sport like racing and those other kinds of sports is those sports require a more physical demand at a younger age, as to where, you know, you could be 25 and get into racing. Right?
Can you?
I mean, I don't know.
Can I get?
I mean, that
into
kid
racing?
was in his mid-20s.
Was he?
Yeah, he was old enough to drink a beer. Well,
he's from the UK.
I guess UK's 18.
18.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was a baby.
That's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll happen one day. I could see it happening. I just don't know.
Because me, as a 25-year-old man, first off, I don't want to get in the car. I don't want to go 400 miles an hour and make those decisions.
It can happen. It's just it's different because you can fully simulate driving up until the point of actually just physically in a car. Like, you know, like the only difference is the motions, right? Like the physical side of it.
Yeah.
So in basketball, you can't really simulate playing just yet. But that's still, to my point, it might happen.
You know what?
Nothing's off the table these days. Anything can happen.
So I'm still focused on the racing is a dangerous game quote to justify the death of the spectator in Gran Turismo based on a true story. One of the things I just thought of from that, though, is the idea that these racing sports may transition eventually into they are glorified RC cars. Where you just have a group of people on the side with their controls on it, and they run the whole thing. Because then, at least in the car, if it crashes, no one dies. Unless you crashed at the spectator, but that's the spectator's fault because they were in the wrong spot. That's their fault.
It could happen.
That could happen.
I mean,
this is the future.
We have that for drones.
Have you
seen drone racing?
Yeah, I've seen drone racing.
That's exactly what you're talking about. There's somebody on the side who is fully immersed into their drone with goggles and all the flight equipment. They just fly it.
Bro, I worked with a drone for my senior design project in college, and they're
so fun.
Bro, not this one.
Oh, what?
This drone was a spaceship. It was a drone that our sponsor got for us, and it was like $3,000. And it was from the ground up to like here, this high, and the arms extended out. There were 6 of them. It was massive. And we had a bunch of stuff about security that we were trying to do on it to make sure you couldn't hack this massive drone, but then also take pictures and everything. It was a whole thing. But we finally got to our flight test for it, and we went to a park.
That's a plane at that point.
It was
fit somebody in it.
It
It's a
was
helicopter.
huge, and it had a base underneath that was holding this massive battery in it that we were all scared of. But we had to just make sure it could actually lift off.
Yeah.
And all of our team, all 5 of us, all of us are like, none of us have flown a drone like this before. We have no idea what we're doing.
What do we do?
So we ended up having to go to a public park. we had an issue where we read about if we lost control of it and it just kept going, like we sent it an up command or a send command and we lost connection and it just kept having that command that it could keep going and then it enters space that it's not allowed to. It was a whole thing. And we ended up tying ropes to both of the legs on the bottom and attaching them into the ground on separate sides. Or actually, I think 2 people held on to it.
Oh, no.
And our first time ever flying this thing, there's a video somewhere, I have to find it. Our first time ever flying it with all of this expensive equipment on it, massive drone. We started up, it starts making a bunch of noise. And then once we sent it the up command, it went whoop, just pancaked over and a ton of equipment went flying and everything. And it was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying moment.
You can't hold it down.
That's my experience with drones. Oh my
commit.
gosh. It was, oh my gosh. I love and hate drones.
You gotta
it's
commit.
terrifying.
Just like in the movie, you gotta commit.
You gotta commit. It's about conviction. Okay?
Oh, that's
about conviction when you're passing the person. Okay? Passing a person is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, now that the Gran Turismo based on a true story movie exists, maybe one day we'll get the Call of Duty based on a true story movie.
It's just a war movie.
It's just a war movie. Hey, what other video game out there could you like simulate and then go do IRL? I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess Call of Duty is the next one up. So
yeah.
I'm sure there's people who there has to have been somebody that was motivated by Call of Duty to go serve.
I can see that. Yeah.
The games have been around for years. There's no way.
I mean, video games have a big impact. The reason that I felt like I could learn how to play guitar, which I can, was because I played too much Guitar Hero.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fact.
Dude. Yeah.
I played that. Colton introduced Guitar Hero to me. My parents got it for me, and then I played it all the time. Yeah. And it motivated me to, I think I was already trying to learn guitar, but it motivated me to keep going with it. And I've been playing for 17 years now.
Easy.
And I attribute that to Guitar Hero. Video games are everything.
Video games are motivational and they're a curse at the same time. But I mean, so is everything in life.
No, there's no downside to video games. Actually,
there's no downside.
There's not a single downside.
Not
to
a
them.
single one. I mean, look, there's ups and downs to everything out there in the world.
Yeah, but not with video games.
Like your phone, you could be addicted.
Yeah, but not video games. Video games are perfect. Video games are perfect and holy, and they don't do anything bad.
Look, I don't care what people get motivated by. Just be in touch when you make a movie based on video games.
Right.
Just be somewhat in touch.
Yeah.
I hate when you have a line that goes, "Oh, we got the gamer on the track."
Noob.
Like, come on.
It's better than a joystick. I won't get over that line.
It's just so cringy. There were just moments in this movie that just felt kind of cringy because you could tell they're out of touch.
Yeah.
That being said, the story is kind of weak, but it's real. So, it's not like they could change it too much.
I mean, it's Gran Turismo based on a true story.
Yeah,
it's based on a true story.
It has a framework they have to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think the racing stuff was cool.
No.
That was cool. It was cooler than watching a race, in my opinion. I would have rather watched this race. If they filmed racing the same way they did racing in this movie, I would be into it.
Ricky, I could not disagree with you more. I actually couldn't disagree.
Our ratings are going to be very different, but I at least kind of enjoyed the racing stuff. It's just everything else around it was just missed so hard.
I think my problem with it, with the racing, was they kept emphasizing, like every time, I don't know anything about this stuff. Again, and I said it at the beginning, this isn't my movie. I get that. This is not my fan base. But when they kept showcasing the actual wheel itself. A million buttons on it. I don't know what any of it means, and they keep zooming in on it. I don't know what the thing he kept pulling, the shift or whatever. He kept doing that. We suddenly changed pedals. All of it just looks like you're in a spaceship, and apparently it's supposed to be interesting. They did that. They did that montage, and then showed like cylinders in the engine. They're all freaking out, and something explodes inside the car. Like they did that every single time.
Yeah, dude.
He passed. It's not that interesting.
Nah, it made me want to play the game, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I thought about that after. I was like, it'd be kind of fun to go play.
The movie motivated you. I mean, it was a glorified ad, technically.
I'm not going to pay for it, but if I can find the game online.
I mean, apparently there's a gamer arcade in the UK somewhere that has nothing but Gran Turismo racing sims.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, that actually makes sense, though. I'm not even going to question that. It's the UK.
Nope, no explanation needed.
No, I mean, this movie, I think, was made for the other half of the world. They're going to really appreciate it.
Yes.
Us here, NASCAR or die.
Now,
give me my big car.
That has to
Throw
be
Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the front, slap a sticker on there, and I'm good. Send it off.
I think what's shocking to me is that there were like 3 or 4 fan events that we saw for this movie too. At our tiny theater.
Yeah, they really promoted this movie. Like they were showing it 3 weeks ago before its release date.
Yeah.
In fan events. So somebody was excited for it.
Someone was.
Look, there's a fan base out there for car things. We're just not it.
They exist, and it's probably millions of people somewhere, and it's just...
The only thing of F1 that makes me interested is that they're doing an F1 race in Vegas, and that will be cool.
And it's new?
It's going to be new. It's coming out. I think it's beginning of next year.
Okay.
Tickets are insane. Insane. I mean, you should ask your dad. It's insane.
My dad doesn't know about this.
Oh, well, it takes place in front of like the Caesar is the one, like the big host of it, like the Bellagio, Caesar, all that right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like the big start and end is going to be.
Okay.
And then they're going to go around the whole entire strip and loop around that whole like area.
Wait, they're gonna do Formula One racing through the strip?
Have you not heard about this? Oh
no,
dude,
I don't keep up with this.
No, I know.
Racing is so boring.
I know it is, but that sounds awesome.
I mean, that's
but it's expensive. I think a room is like $10,000 for like just a bad room there. That's what I say. Maybe ask your dad. Maybe he knows.
Okay,
Dude,
I see.
I've heard it's like a few grand to like just get a seat anywhere near there. It's going to be so expensive to show up to this thing. It brings them so much money. But that would be fun to go watch some race cars in Vegas. We go hang out in a casino for like an hour and then come back out. Oh, they're passing. Woo!
Oh, they're passing.
All right, let's go back to the table.
Oh, big accident. Someone died.
Let's go back to the table.
Back to the table.
Yep. Win me some money. All right, we got 5 more minutes till they make it out there. Let's go. Woo! All right. Let's go back to the table.
That sounds so boring. That sounds so boring,
awesome
bro.
in the Vegas lights.
No.
That's the only part of Formula One that seems cool is the views. That's it. Mm-hmm. Like the tracks look beautiful. That's about it.
Yeah, I just want to walk through the track.
Yeah.
No cars needed.
I'll drive through the track. That'll be fun.
I'll drive in my car around the track.
Cool. It'd be cute.
At 15 miles an hour so I can see the cool track.
Oh, man.
Dude, I did not I don't think it's the worst movie ever, but I'm not going to rate this movie high
like at all. Rate it?
Do I want to what?
You want to rate it?
Yeah, we can do that. What are we at? Yeah, we should rate it.
Yeah, we just rate it.
Bro, we saw it. We saw it. Don't worry. We saw it. Yeah, well, let's get Banana Meter in here.
Let's go rate this racing movie.
Oh my gosh. I don't know where they get any of this stuff, dude.
Whoa, hey, slow down. Whoa, hey, guys, relax.
These guys are
relax.
They all have tiny F1 Oh my gosh.
Wow, that one just crashed into a wall. Yep, look at that.
Oh, the other one, they're all just shaking their head. That's how it goes.
You mad, bro? Oh, wow, look at them go.
I like that line. Mad. Good job, guys.
They are mad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool.
All right.
Sweet little cars, guys.
All
they
right.
made a Formula One track around your house.
That's going to be rough to clean up, but all right. Especially, wow, that car just caught on fire. That's great.
Yep. And he's
Start
now
putting it out.
They have banana. Yeah, they're just shooting bananas onto
Yeah,
it.
that's not working.
Well, look at them go. They're just throwing bananas onto it.
Yeah.
Man, if only the camera could pick this up.
If only it could, but the lights
Hey.
and everything would melt them.
That's
It
why
would
we
be-
need you to support the podcast so we can get a second camera to show you guys the minion cam.
Yeah, that's our next goal. Is a minion
the
cam.
minion cam.
Yeah. All right. I guess I will go first.
Yeah, I want to end it on a nicer note. You started out because I already
So-
know mine's gonna be higher.
So one thing I didn't get to that I didn't say was something that I did enjoy, and it was the theme about music in the movie.
Yeah.
It was weird at first because the soundtrack for the film, for some reason, they were using songs like John Williams made it from and was doing the intense music from Inception, like orchestral, big climactic
Growing, right.
music about nothing. Orlando Bloom just got dissed by David Harbour, and that's it. So that was weird. But the music through the movie became more important with the Kenny G and the Enya stuff for the main character,
Yeah.
and then was able to relate to David Harbour. That honestly is probably the best part of the movie to me because I liked that relationship.
Which is funny because that's just the only real life. That's one of the only real life things that they carried into the movie.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't even
That
like
that Yan actually listened to that before his...
those songs would the parts you like would not exist if it wasn't real life.
Yeah.
Think about that.
A reminder, I've said it before, the real life stuff, kind of the best parts based on a true story movies. So I'm kind of just a music guy in general. I like music a lot with how they're integrated into movies and stuff. So that was fun to me. I liked that. But everything else, if you don't like racing, if you never watch it, if you don't care one iota about it, like me, this is a terrible movie. And I know that's not true. I know it's like a subpar movie, like it's mid. If you do like racing, if
Right.
you have any interest in it. For me, this is a 25.
Yeah.
Like easy 25. Because I liked a couple things about it. There were a couple stressful parts about the racing that then I started getting interested in. But the stakes of the movie, I just don't feel like they structured it well. It didn't. I never really cared about what the goal was that we were trying to get to. You know?
Yeah, I get that.
Like it didn't make sense to me why it was so critical that we needed to prove that a sim racer could be a pro driver. In real life, I get it, of like a person can do anything and we're in the future and we found a new way that someone can become a pro. That's interesting. Movie concept, kind of weak.
See, it's funny because I actually don't mind that concept because one of my favorite movies is the same exact concept. Rocky. Rocky is the same concept.
Okay.
It's not about winning. It's just about being able to prove everybody else wrong that you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's why for me, I kind of enjoyed the movie a little bit. It kind of gave me a Rocky feel of like he's celebrating, and you were like he came in third. It's like, yeah, but that's not the point. He lasted. That's all he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Was just prove that we could do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Rocky's all about, baby.
I think there's a significant difference because that's a good point. I think the significant difference is the specific sport.
Yes,
that we're
exactly.
talking
And
about.
that was going to be my next point is the only reason that this just didn't hit with us is because neither of us really care for racing. Like Rocky, I enjoy boxing. I enjoy the combat sports like that.
We went out to watch that a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I actually really like combat sports a lot. So those kind of things resonate with me more. Racing is not something I really resonate with. I don't really care much for it. I've tried to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I've given it a shot. Like I've watched races. I've been to a race. It's not my thing, and that's okay. Because everybody has their thing, okay?
Remember that.
You
Stop
can
yelling
have your
at
own
us.
opinions. Just because people tell you that you need to like it doesn't mean you need to like it. Get your own thoughts.
We said it too late. There's a million comments yelling at us.
That being said, that aspect of it, I did enjoy it. I definitely feel like there was a Rocky motivation in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guarantee you that director in the back of his head at some point was like, dude, but this movie's going to be like Rocky.
They're in the green
Guaranteed.
room being like, it's going to be the next Rocky,
Had to
I
have
promise.
dude, there's no way that they're all 80s inspired of all this BS. And then it's just like, no, we wouldn't inspire it after an 80s movie. No.
No. We don't
Guaranteed.
care.
Guaranteed they inspired by Rocky to make this movie. Guaranteed. That being said, the racing aspects of it was the only things I really liked, which funny because it's the only things you hated. I liked the racing stuff. I thought that they did that really well. There's some cool shots in there. Really bad CGI. That was fun to watch.
It was bad. It was.
Yeah, it was very uncalled for. They didn't need it
at
all, but they wanted to do it. Whatever. Acting subpar. It's like most of the acting's pretty bad, but some of it's really good.
Yeah.
Music. Yeah, the music was fine. Personally, for the music, I thought it was cool. It was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. It was kind of weird at times.
Yeah.
All in all, I think I'm gonna land this movie at like a 55.
Yeah.
That's the number I like. I think it's just you said it earlier. It's just mid.
Yeah.
It's just a mid movie.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody, I mean, if you don't like racing, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah. I think, but to say it again, if you care about Formula One at all, I think you may look at this movie and be like, this is an 80.
Oh, easy.
Because you actually enjoy that.
Well, and people probably
watch that on your
know
own.
the story.
Too, yeah.
They probably know this real life thing. Like that. And that usually resonates more for these kinds of movies when you know what the idea was behind it. You know what I mean? You know, like it's like Transformers. Like if you didn't grow up on Transformers, you're not gonna like any movie you see. Who freaking cares?
I thought you were about to say Transformers was based on a true story.
It's just one of those things where it's like if you didn't know about it, you're not gonna care.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an original IP.
Mm-hmm.
It's based off of something else
Yeah.
earlier. So I don't know. I think Gran Turismo, plug it in. It's mid. Meh.
Yeah, plug it into the banana meter. What you say? It's mid.
It's mid.
It's mid.
Not good.
No, not good.
D.
Yeah, bad.
Easy D.
Bad.
Maybe F. Some would say F.
I would say F.
Some would say F. Some would say D.
No, I personally D is incorrect. Anything higher than F is incorrect.
We'll make a new category.
We'll make a new category. Yeah, that's.
We'll put it in an E. I like it in E.
I thought I was gonna like it too. I usually like anything based on a true story.
Funny, I thought I was gonna hate it.
Wow.
I really thought I was gonna hate this movie. I was not. I told my wife all week I was not excited to see this movie at all in the slightest because it's just I don't care much for racing things.
This is the world we live in.
But weirdly enough, it wasn't bad. It felt like a teen drama most of the time.
It was bad.
Felt like I was watching a teen drama at times.
That just added to my point. It was bad.
Yeah.
If it's a teen drama, it was bad.
It was bad.
It was bad.
Rough.
Not good. I saw it. You didn't. Okay? Until you go see it, then you can yell at us.
If you didn't like our opinion, comment down below what you think.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Share it with a friend and yell at them too.
Go ahead. All of you. You guys can riot at your homes and all write comments together.
We don't see the dislike button, so like the video to show us how much you hated our review of it. The more that goes up, the more we know, okay, we should review car movies. But if you dislike it, it's going to go into the ether. Nobody will know. So
we just create this huge war against the entire racing fan.
Yeah. All right,
base.
let's start it. All right, racing sucks. Let's go. What's the next thing? DC Universe sucks.
DC Universe sucks.
Marvel's going down the drain. What else can we just destroy?
I'm not a big modern Star Wars fan. Very bad to me.
I think that's everybody's take.
Nope, that's incorrect. There's a huge population that's like, I will die on this. They're incredible, and that's I don't agree. Look, when there's a new Star Wars movie, we'll get into this.
1 through 6. That's all Star Wars exists to me. Everything else, I don't care.
Yeah.
We could go in on the clone. No,
we won't. We can't get into it.
No, stop.
We've come to the end of the hallway, and there's a door that we're like looking into right now. We're like, do we want to go
animated Star Wars?
Oh, I see Star Wars in here.
Dude, shut the door, David. Shut the door. We don't want to piss him off. Shut the door.
That looks really interesting over there. Is that Anakin? Oh, he shut the door.
Is that you, Ahsoka? Shut the door.
Okay, all right.
Shut the door.
All right, that's it. This was a bad.
Stinker movie.
Oh my gosh.
Next episode.
What is the next episode? What's coming out? We don't know. Okay.
No, nothing.
We might end up seeing Boat Dracula. Oh god.
Might have to.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's it.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding next. See you guys then.
Thank you so much for listening to Straight Dude Date Night. We do hope you enjoy. As always, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to leave a review, tell a friend about it, give us 5 stars, whatever you want to do there.
Create a fake account. Make multiple burners and then follow, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do. Whatever you want to do to really help us out.
Be genuine.
But only if you like it.
Only if you like.
That's it. Instagram, TikTok, everything. Check us out.
X,
yeah. And that's it. I think we're done. Right here. Boom.
Yeah!